Have you ever felt invisible? Not just overlooked, but erased, as if your pain happened where no one was watching. She knew that feeling. A woman without a country, a servant without a choice, a mother carrying a future she never asked for, into a wilderness that promised only thirst. But what if the most desolate landscape is exactly where the divine gaze finds its focus? This is the story of Hagar, and the God who refuses to look away. Before her name meant seen, she was property. Hagar, an Egyptian woman severed from her homeland, a living instrument for someone else's destiny. When Sarai's hope for a child had withered, she reached for the only solution within her grasp. Perhaps I can build a family through her. It was not a request. It was a transaction. Hagar was given to Abram, and she conceived. Overnight, her reality shifted. The invisible servant now carried the air. Can you imagine the storm within her? Scripture says she began to despise her mistress, and Sarai's desperation curdled into fury. May the wrong done to me be upon you. Abram's response was staggering. She is your servant. Do with her as you please. With those words, the cruelty was sanctioned, until the weight became unbearable, and Hagar ran. She ran into the scorching desert, pregnant, alone. Every step, a rebellion leading nowhere. This is where many of our stories feel they end. When we flee one prison only to find ourselves in a vast, open wasteland of despair. Hagar collapsed by a spring in the desert of Shur, spent, broken, at the absolute end of herself. And it was there that a voice spoke her name. Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going? The angel of the Lord stood before her, not as a judge, as a witness. He knew her. He named her. He saw everything. The command was almost unbearable. Return, submit. But then came the promise. I will increase your descendants beyond number. You will bear a son. Name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your affliction. Heard, seen, known, not as a tool, not as a problem, but as a person. In that moment, theology became personal. Hagar, the Egyptian slave, gave God a new name. You are El Roi, the God who sees me. For she said, I have now seen the one who sees me. Hagar returned. She bore her son. For years, life continued. But the story was not finished. When Isaac was born, the tension became a fault line. Sarah saw Ishmael mocking. One word, one act. Cast out this slave woman and her son. This time, Abraham was distressed. This was his firstborn son. But God affirmed the painful severing. Listen to Sarah, for through Isaac your offspring will be named. But I will also make the son of the slave into a nation. At dawn, Abraham gave Hagar bread and a skin of water and sent her away. Imagine that walk. Again, déjà vu of despair, but now with a teenager's hand in hers. The desert was no longer temporary flight, but permanent exile. The water ran out. Hagar placed her son under a shrub. She could not bear to watch him die. Do not let me see the child's death, she wept. And she lifted up her voice and cried. And for the second time, the voice that sees pierced the wilderness. What troubles you, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the voice of the boy. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well. The same wilderness that promised death now yielded life. God provided the well, But Hagar had to lift the boy, take his hand, and go drink. Hagar's story does not end with a triumphant return. It ends with a new nation flourishing in the very wilderness meant to destroy them. So, what is the echo of Hagar for us today? First, your visibility to God is not determined by your visibility to people. You can be marginalized, forgotten, and used, yet be fully seen, fully known, and fully named by God. Second, God meets us at the point of surrender, not at the peak of our strength. Divine encounters happen when we've come to the end of ourselves. Third, obedience often leads back into difficulty, but never back into darkness. Hagar returned to a hard situation, but as a woman who had seen God. The circumstance was the same. She was utterly transformed. Fourth, provision is often present where we initially see only desolation. The well was there all along. Our despair can blind us. Maybe you're in your own wilderness today. Maybe you feel like a supporting character in someone else's story. Maybe you're out of water. Hear the echo of Hagar's well. You are seen. Your affliction is heard. Your story is not over. If this reminder met you in a dry place, let this community know. Subscribe to Echoes of Scripture. And remember, in the economy of heaven, no one wanders unseen. The wilderness itself is holy ground to the God named El Roy.